Greetings to all lovers of mystique and mysteries. In the modern world, most of us feel that we can go practically anywhere. You often see individuals or families freely moving around the country or even the world. However, there are a few places scattered around the globe that are not so easily accessible and are completely off limits to almost everyone. Today, we'll explore everything from mystical islands to forbidden military facilities that are prohibited to tread upon. Mausoleum of Qin Shi Huangdi. The tomb of Qin Shi Huangdi was only discovered in 1974 and is considered one of the most heavily guarded tombs ever created. It is the burial site of one of the first emperors of China, protected by thousands of clay soldiers that have been meticulously crafted and placed inside. In addition, there are various traps and even a river filled with mercury that prevents anyone from reaching the long-deceased emperor's body. It is still unknown what kinds of traps might be lurking here, but researchers continue to do their best to excavate the tomb. Fort Knox. Fort Knox is considered one of the most heavily guarded places on Earth. The United States government stores a significant amount of its gold and precious metals here, with thousands, perhaps millions, of tons of valuable items housed within the walls of Fort Knox. The building is under strict isolation and can only be accessed by authorized personnel, but the specific security measures taken are unknown. There may be laser beams and groups of armed ninja fighters that would eliminate anyone attempting to enter. Honestly, we just don't know. But the government is confident that Fort Knox will never be breached by enemy forces. Poveglia. There are many theories about the history of Poveglia, but we do not know for sure what might be the truth and what stories have been concocted over the years. What we do know for certain is that the island was home to a large number of people who suffered from the plague in the late 18th century. Most of these people perished, leading to rumors that much of the soil on this island consists of human remains. It is also known that Napoleon used the island to hide much of his weaponry, believing that the island was so small that no one would think to look there. Finally, in the 20th century, a psychiatric hospital was opened on the island, but closed just 40 years later. Since then, the island has remained virtually unchanged. Metro 2. Little is known about this secret subway line, but rumors circulate that Stalin built Metro 2 at the beginning of the Cold War. This was done to easily connect many major government buildings, including Moscow's landmarks, the Kremlin, the Federal Security Service, and the airport. Metro 2 is known to consist of only one line, making all these connections possible. If the rumors are true, and they certainly seem plausible, it would mean that some government officials could travel to different places without even stepping outside. It's a bit eerie to think about. Svalbard Global Seed Vault. Yes, I'm sure everyone has heard about the famous seed vault located in Norway. This seed vault was built on the side of a mountain with walls so thick, dense, and sturdy that many people believe the vault can survive a nuclear war or atomic bomb. Seeds from practically all plants in the world are stored in the freezer inside this vault so that, in the event of doomsday, we could repopulate the earth with new plants and partially restore life. No one is allowed to enter this vault out of fear of contaminating the stored seeds. Vatican Secret Archives. The Vatican Secret Archives are known to house the most crucial information about human history. Many of the items here relate to biblical history. The archives also contain many other historical items that have been locked away from the access of modern humans. This keeps the items safe, ensuring that they will serve for many years. Only a small group of people in the world is allowed to request a viewing of some of these items, but no one is allowed to leave the premises. Photography is also strictly prohibited. Lascaux Cave. Lascaux Cave is a prehistoric cave that was discovered relatively recently, in 1940. What makes this cave so interesting and incredible is that it is filled with over 600 cave paintings. In addition to this, experts estimate there are about 1,500 engravings and a variety of other figures and drawings scattered throughout. Some of the paintings depict animals, such as horses standing 3 meters tall, while others portray creatures and places that disappeared over 20,000 years ago. Unfortunately, substances on visitors' skin began to damage the paintings and engravings, so the cave is now closed to the public. Snake Island. Snake Island has become one of the most popular secluded places in modern history. This island is known for being the habitat of some of the most venomous snakes in the world, and these species thrive on the island. Thousands of golden lancehead vipers and various other types of vipers and snakes can be found here. These reptiles can kill you without warning or bring you to the brink of life and death in less than a few minutes. It's definitely not the island you want to find yourself on. RAF Menwith Hill. Back in 1954, the British Ministry of Defense purchased 550 acres of land and leased it to the United States. This marked the beginning of RAF Menwith Hill, considered one of the most mysterious pieces of land in all of Britain. Little is known about the base except that it was originally used for espionage and other intelligence activities during the Cold War. Today, access to the base is only allowed for certain spies and members of the NSA. Everyone else is strictly prohibited from visiting the base. We have no idea what government activities might be happening there today, and we probably don't want to know. Club 33 at Disneyland. Disneyland is a magical place, but there's one area where no one is allowed. Club 33 is one of the most secret and coveted clubs known to man, allowed to be entered only by a select few. It was designed by Walt Disney himself as a place of relaxation, and he always invited only the best of the best to the club. Many of his guests were often high-ranking politicians or movie stars. Huge marijuana plantation. In 2011, a large marijuana plantation covering over 120 acres of land was discovered deep in Mexico near the border with California, right next to the United States. The entire plantation was covered with black fabric, hiding the plants from those who might fly over them. Apparently, this camouflage worked for many years, as no one knew about this plantation during that time. Eventually, Mexican military discovered the farm and immediately shut it down. According to researchers, some of the plants reached almost 2.5 meters in height. Great Ise Shrine. In Japan, there is a shrine that is completely closed to the public. Entry is allowed only to members of the imperial family. The Great Ise Shrine was built for the sun goddess Amaterasu Amikami, and its interior is completely rebuilt every 20 years to correspond with the Japanese concept of renewal. None of the public has ever seen the inner part of the shrine in its current form, as Japanese traditions and religion strictly forbid it. Only one member of the family is allowed to be the keeper of the shrine, as it is one of the most secretive places on Earth. Robbins Island. Just off the coast of New York lies Robbins Island. This island covers an area of about 99 square kilometers and is considered one of the most closed islands in the world. Being completely off limits to the public, the island's history leaves many questions unanswered. Today, it is privately owned and serves as a sanctuary in one of the most protected areas in the world. It is known that the owner of the island has spent a fortune on its security and restoration, planting oak trees and various types of grass. The island is believed to be the habitat for various endangered species, and some of the healthiest turtles in the state of New York live here. North Sentinel Island. North Sentinel Island has been home to an elusive tribe of people for approximately 60,000 years, or at least that's what researchers believe. In truth, we cannot be certain. This tribe has had almost no contact with the outside world. Over time, the Indian government has become highly protective of this indigenous population. A law was enacted prohibiting modern people from setting foot on the island, out of fear that they might infect the islanders with diseases and potentially wipe them out. There are also concerns that the reverse could happen, with the tribe exposing us to diseases that could trigger a new global pandemic. Herd Island. Herd Island is completely off limits to people, and the government wants to keep it that way. The island is very dangerous, reportedly having at least 2 active volcanoes. It is also home to Australia's highest mountain and several large glaciers. Considering how hazardous the mainland of Australia is, and that if the country's government tells you to stay away, you probably should, it's likely best to follow their instructions. Woomera Test Range. The Woomera Test Range is the largest above-ground test range in the world, covering an area of about 122,000 square kilometers, larger than the entire country of Portugal. No one will tell you for sure what goes on at this range, but we know that it is used by Australia and its numerous allies to test new types of weapon systems before deploying them to the military arsenal. Bombs, missiles, and other dangerous weapons are constantly dropped here. The test range is heavily guarded, and entry is strictly limited to authorized personnel. Visitors are not allowed on the range under any circumstances. North Brother Island. On the island stands Riverside Hospital, or rather, what's left of it. New York acquired the island back in 1885 and planned to open one of the largest hospitals ever built there. Eventually, the hospital was used to house patients with serious incurable diseases such as tuberculosis, yellow fever, smallpox, and many others. During World War II, the hospital was used to accommodate veterans and heroin addicts. But now it is abandoned and has remained untouched for decades. Bohemian Grove. Bohemian Grove has been shrouded in mystery since it was first discovered by the outside world. Many government officials, as well as many famous Hollywood actors, are believed to come here to talk and share ideas. We know that political parties play no role here, and the club is considered a neutral ground for elite representatives from all walks of life. However, there have been many rumors and video evidence suggesting that Bohemian Grove could also be the home of some cult that may commit heinous acts, possibly even human sacrifices. Area 51. Yes, we all know about Area 51. This base has been shrouded in secrecy for decades and can be found in the United States. Officially, it's nothing more than a military base. However, local residents report seeing all sorts of strange lights, sounds, and flying aircraft, leading to numerous rumors that this base might actually be home to some highly advanced extraterrestrial technology. Surtsey Island. Surtsey Island is considered one of the youngest islands in world history. It was formed only in 1965 and is considered completely closed to everyone except geologists. There is nothing particularly dangerous on the island. However, it has remained entirely untouched by humans for almost its entire existence. This means that the plants and animals living there are some of the few examples we have of what the Earth would look like if human pollution did not impact them. The world is not as it seems at first glance. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel because there is a lot of interesting stuff ahead. Thanks for your attention, and see you in the next videos.